Hello everyone, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another Airsoft tabletop video review for you guys. Today we're looking at the KJWorks KP-11 Hi-Capa 1911, and this is the CO2 Blowback Airsoft pistol. You can get gas blowback magazines, but we sell it with the CO2 mag just to get that FPS up and over the 366 FPS range. Alright, let's get right into some of the specifications. Again, this gun is made by KJWorks. It is a CO2 semi-auto blowback pistol. It has a metal slide with a polymer frame. It has a full-size dropout metal magazine that holds the airsoft BBs and the CO2. It does use 12-gram CO2 cartridges and shoots 6mm airsoft plastic BBs. It also has an adjustable hop-up system that I'll show you a little bit later when I do the field strip for this pistol. The magazine holds 28 rounds, and this gun weighs in at about 2 pounds or 930 grams. And like most 1911 pistols, it has that traditional 1911 single action only trigger, nice and short and light. Again, this gun will shoot up and around 360 plus FPS. It also has white dot sights both front and back, and they're nice and bright. And as is true with most 1911s, it has the working back strap safety. Now, in terms of it being a replica, it is styled after the 1911, especially the slide portion. The frame, however, is more of a double stack frame. It is polymer. Most 1911s have metal frames. It is in that double stack configuration, and overall the gun has a more tactical look to it. This gun again is made by KJWorks out of Taiwan, and we do sell it in our Canada Replica Airgun store. We have a lot of KJWorks pistols there. They're great value for the money in my opinion. Alright, let's take a look at another KJWorks pistol. This is basically another 1911, so it's more of your typical 1911. You know, it's not tactical. It doesn't have the fancy tactical trigger. All right, there we are. So you can see your typical 1911 hammer, trigger, no tactical look, right? This gun doesn't have anything fancy, no ambidextrous parts or anything like that. This is your single stack style magazine, much more thin, right? This is the olive green or olive drab one, right? So this is basically the M1911 by KJWorks. Nice pistol. This gun is CO2, which is nice, but it does have that little extension that comes down and out. Working backstrap safety. You know, a lot of the functionality is going to be the same. This does have a metal frame on it, right? So, but overall, the gun, you know, both of them are similar in weight, just because the polymer frame on this pistol is quite substantial. All right, let's take a quick walk around, then we'll do the field strip for you guys. All right, so let's take a look. I do like the finish on this pistol. It's pretty cool. You know, you do have that tactical look, right, front and back here. You do have the tactical trigger, right? Sights are a little bit more tactical-ish, the white dot sights, front and back. You know, you've got that tactical hammer as well, right? Working back strap safety, right? KJWorks symbol there. And again, I do like the finish. It's kind of a matte black with a bit of almost a bit of a texture, especially on the frame. The frame is definitely textured. I think this is going to wear really, really nice. And you know, it's really got a nice feel to it. So if you're out and your hands are a little slippery, you're going to be fine with this frame. It is a little bit bigger, a little wider. So you must, you know, you're going to have decent sized hands for this gun. But you know, it's a 1911. They're a little bit beefy. Okay, you do have the Picatinny rail here, right? See, made in Taiwan, KJWorks. Okay, there's those white dot sights again. Let's take a look down through the mag well. Okay. I don't have any CO2 in this gun, so I can't really show you the blowback action, but it does have a nice, pretty decent spring on it, pretty decently heavy slide, so it's going to feel pretty good, being that it also uses CO2 in the magazine. Let's take a quick look at the mag. Okay, your typical mag, you would just pop this off, right, and put your CO2 in the bottom. Okay, and you would tighten the screw on the bottom with this Allen key, okay? You'll also have a few other parts that come in the box. I didn't show you the box yet, but this is for helping you to field strip it all the way. If you want to take this part off, you can take that off. Right? If you want to take the barrel right out, you can do that. Also comes with some BBs. Okay. Of course, it comes with your manual, KP-11 manual. Do's and don'ts, of course, how to load it, all those things. Right? Load BBs. How to work the slide. Make sure you're using the safeties properly. Right? How to adjust hop up. Things like that. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the box. Okay. Nothing on the back because it's foam, but that's the box. Alright, so at this point we're going to do a quick field strip of this pistol. I'm not going to take it right down, but we will take the slide off anyways for you. Okay, like typical 1911, you just basically pop this back, right, until you get to this point here. Right, and then you push it out from the other side, push it out that way through the other side. It gets a little bit tough, especially if you don't have fingernails, so I'm just going to use this to wiggle this out a little bit here. There it is. Okay, a little bit easier for me. And then the slide just comes right off the front. Okay, so let's take a look here at the hop up. So you can see your hop up right there. Okay, it's got a little sort of rod indicator. You can see that. But you can just adjust the hop up, right? Okay. Now, of course, I could take the spring out, remove the bushing, take the barrel out, all that stuff if I wanted to, but we're just going to leave this intact. You know, nice metal slide, feels good, has decent weight. It's got a lot of weight to it. The frame, of course, being polymer, is fairly light, but when you combine all the components in the magazine, the gun definitely has a decent weight to it. But, you know, nice, everything's quite nice. Lots of, you know, it's a thick material. You're not going to have any problems with this frame at all. As I said, the texture is really nice, which makes gripping it a little bit easier. Okay. Doing this on camera is a bit tough, but it is. All back together. Alright, I haven't done any shooting with this pistol at all. Haven't even played around with it, so I really don't know what to say. But I can tell you, you know, based on my experience shooting other KJWorks pistols, I'm sure it's going to perform excellent. The trigger is really nice, I can tell you that. I mean, without getting too into it, the trigger is typical 1911. Very nice and short. Not crazy light like some, but decent. You know, it's decent. A little heavier than some, but, you know, not heavy by any means. Just that some 1911 triggers are so light you barely even, you know, touch them and they go. But it's very short, very little take up, has your typical 1911 trigger. Alright, let's get into some of the pros and the cons. The KJWorks KP-11 has a really good weight, but it's not too heavy since it has that polymer frame. I also expect it to have that typical KJWorks crisp and firm full blowback operation, especially since the slide and slide spring are both fairly heavy. It also has that excellent fit and finish that we expect from KJWorks guns, and I like that matte textured finish, which looks really good and should be super durable. It also has really nice white dot sights that are super easy to see, and they'll be great to use on just about any target or background. And I like the look of the tactical hammer and trigger along with the Picatinny rail. Now you are going to get that nice high capacity, Hi-Capa magazine, which is going to give you a few extra shots when you need them. And you're going to get a little extra power with the CO2 mag that we include with this pistol. Again, this gun is fully field strippable. A couple cons: it's not really set up for the left-handed user with no real ambidextrous components. So if you're lefty, you might want to look for a slightly different style 1911. Some of them do have more ambidextrous functionality. Now the CO2 magazine is long to accommodate the 12 gram CO2, so it does stick out a little bit. And the grips may be a bit thick for people with smaller hands. Alright, thanks for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Again, we have this pistol in our online Canada Replica Airgun store along with a bunch of other KJWorks pistols. And of course, we have our Canada and US online Replica Airgun stores where we sell air guns, BB guns, pellet guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, knives, and other accessories. Also check out the link in the description. I'll have a full written review along with some additional photos over at replicaairguns.com. Alright, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.